Good morning, good morning. It is Thursday, February 10th. Hope everyone's doing well. Just gonna drop a link to make sure everyone's getting in here okay. Excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna get things set up. So, at least the market is in a good spot. Didn't gap up anything crazy. Let's see. Yeah. So before we dig into the market, let me pull up the news and earnings schedule. We'll go ahead and start with earnings. All right. So it's Thursday. We had Twilio report last night, Disney. Those are kind of the only names I'm looking at. And then we have Datadog before open. So we can check in on some of those. I know that Twilio is up pretty high, or popped pretty hard. Their earnings report was very good. Just a quick blip. Twilio shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 and sales results and issued a Q1 sales guidance above estimates. So that's always going to be good. They were supposed to lose $1 and they only lost 20 cents, so not bad. As we've seen lately with earnings that went well and a big old gap, we haven't lately been getting a gap and go. And, you know, given its ATR, it's already up at the third Keltner, so might need to let this one come back a little bit. But I know a couple of folks like Watch will be smiling this morning. Let's see, we got the dog this morning. Is it going? Yep, so Datadog looks like their results are out. Man. Company reported better than expected Q4 EPS and sales results and issued Q1 fiscal year 22 sales guidance above estimates. So another similar report. I remember trading Datadog back at like $80 on its way to 100, and now here we are. So again, it's up above 3 ATR. These things can do what they want, but you know, don't want to get caught in a trap where they just bring it right back. Let's go back to earnings. And let's just go over to the news. And the whole Canada truck thing still going on. I'm not going to get into that. White House says they are preparing for some potential escalation with Russia. Always something to keep in mind there. Ooh, VIX below 20. We'll check in on that. Sorry, just trying to scan through here real quick, see if there's anything else we might want to cover. Disney shares up 11%. Results beat. Uber up 2.2%. Always go check the upgrades, coverages. Twitter hit a miss with ad revenue. Still up pre-market. Yep, and that's about it. AMD receives all necessary approvals for proposed acquisition of Xilinx. Ooh. Some extra news for AMD, so we'll check them out. Yeah, I'm still looking good. So let's dig in to ES. Excuse me. So we had our, support that we faded to, broke through. Don't need to recover all of that. We know the thesis that we were looking for there and how it unfolded. Now we are up to the highs from last week and this zone that I drew. If we go back to the daily, for any of you newer folks tuning in or watching this, I drew this zone that was very pivotal during this, this last couple of months. We bounced at it last time and then sold off and rejected it. Now we're back to it. So let's see if this key level around 4580 to 4600 is going to continue to hold us back, or if we can get right through it to get to this daily 50 up at 4605. And the first Keltner up isn't too far at 4615. If we keep rejecting here, we have a chance to start falling back to where we were last week. Let's go back down on time frame. We do have the 21 down here at about 45.30. The daily 8 is there as well. And, psychological 4,500 if we start to reject and lose these squeeze bottoms. But as we move in on the day, we do have let me pull this up. Lordy, what computer is being slow today? There we go. Get back to yes. We have a 30-minute and a 1-hour squeeze, which are these clouds that we're seeing come in. And we have a couple of zones that were set from the overnight action. So, zoom on in here. Got this micro zone around 45.85, the highs right after close yesterday. We've got this 45.63, the lows from overnight, which now our squeezes have caught up to. So, you know what I'm going to say, if we can't get through the squeeze top, and this little micro zone of 45.85, start pushing to 45.90, 4600. If we can't get through these squeeze clouds, we're going to fall back to VWAP, which is right in the middle, 45.72. And we could even visit the squeeze bottoms back at 45.65 today. Yeah, even 45.60. So pretty clear roadmap. But if we can get through, you know, we have this zone to deal with, the psychological level at 4600, and the daily 50 at 4605. So key magnet up here that we want to try to get to. This zone can be resistance the whole way up. Could be a slow grind. We could rip right through, give it a tap and come back. We could rip through, keep going. But you know how we like to watch these squeeze clouds. If it can't get through, we're going to go test the bottom for a measured pullback before the show continues. So yeah, let's go look at NQ. So similar story, we did get up, and let's compare back to the highs from last week. There we go. So not quite to the highs from last week. Those are still up further at about 15,250, and we are, you know, at 15,000 struggling right now. So we're at the daily 15, and we are above the 21. So we're in between two key daily moving averages. We could kind of bounce around here for the morning. And those also align with our 30-minute squeeze top and 30-minute and hourly squeeze top and bottom. The 30-minute is inside of them, the hourly is outside of them. So we could try to break out here, get stuffed, fall back to the 21, and then get going again. That's one scenario for today. Or if we can just get through the squeeze top and yesterday's high with enough volume and momentum, we can carry and just keep going. You know, at least we're not gapping up, so we don't have that to deal with. Basically going to open about flat or a small gap down. So maybe filling the gap and moving up just propels us and fires these squeezes. We'll have to see. But for NQ today, let's see if we can hold this 950, no lower than 900, and start to, and definitely, you know, it'd be nice to hold this 15,000 now that we're above it. But we do have pre-market low and the 21 down there and squeeze clouds. So if we can hold that, start pushing through 100 and on up to that 250, the highs from last week. I believe, yeah, we do still have the daily 50 up at about 500 as well. So pretty clear, even targets. Let's see what we get today, and if tech can lead and fire these squeezes up, or if we are going to have a little pullback to test the bottom of them. Going to be opportunity all around. You ready? Trucking along and on a nice steady uptrend. It is through last week's high and above with similar squeezes. So let's see if it can get through. If we want to come back and retest the highs from last week, this is zone, and the daily 21 is right in there as well. And to the upside, if we can get through, psychological 2100 and the first Keltner up. YM. Looking strong as well, back above the highs from last week already, and back above its daily 50. Same squeezes in place, so let's see if it wants to visit the bottom of the squeeze and the highs from last week for one more tap before firing even further up. But you know, all of the higher time frame squeezes have fired up. We do have dailies starting to form on each index, but as those form, they'll be pretty wide and we might not even see one side of them. So like, we don't see the top of this daily squeeze just yet. In fact, it looks like, there it is, it's starting to develop up here at what is the second Keltner. So, you know, just possible scenario, we could keep moving, you know, we might have a pullback, tap something, and then keep moving up to second Keltner, which will then be the squeeze top, a daily squeeze top, and we could see a more dramatic pullback off of that. So something to keep in mind on each of these indexes as they start to form, because they're just now forming, you know, 4N on YM and only 1 on the other indexes. Moving on, Apple. Nice and strong, held our zone, moving its way up. Pretty much in the zone created from the highs from last week. So can we get through, stay above that, get to the squeeze top and fire? We have the first we are at the first Keltner up. In fact, we rode that yesterday. So actually, let me zoom back out. So, you know, just giving an example of why I like to use those daily Keltners. We've got the mean down here, this white line. And, you know, Tuesday, we didn't even need to tap the mean completely. This squeeze bottom was enough, and this key level. We take off, tap first Keltner, back to VWAP, tap first Keltner. Now, yesterday, we are above it, and we just fall to it and hold it. Now we're starting to push off of it. And the next target would be, once we get out of this squeeze, the second Keltner up, and getting back to 180. If we can't get through top of squeeze, we might fall back to the first Keltner again before taking off. But definitely watch this trend line. Today might not need too much of a pullback to just keep on going. AMD above the high from after earnings, and starting to slip a little bit below and out of this channel, but we'll see if it can get back up before open, or, you know, at least hold this zone. And as far as 130 maybe in a dip, but ultimately we'd like to see AMD hold this zone, keep pushing, get through the daily 50. We have the next Keltner up at 138. So those 135s would be a good play. Obviously we got to hold and keep going. And we only have 2 days left in the week. And AMD has its ATR of about 7 points. So it could actually get to about 140. But we'll have to see what it can do, and if we, it kind of looks like we have some more volume coming in towards the end of the week. If AMD can't hold the zone, going to revisit that 130, and you know, could get as low as the lows from yesterday, 128 maybe. we also have the daily mean down at 124. Moving on, we got Amazon. Also, it's in the same kind of 30-minute, 1 hour squeeze. Also, the 4 hour has started to come back in form. Yeah. But that aligns well with the daily 21. So Amazon's between the daily 50, daily 21. If we can't get through the daily 50 to try to go visit the daily 200 and get through these squeeze tops and the high after earnings, we could go back and revisit the daily 21 now that it's kind of caught up. It is above the lows from the gap up. So we gap up, tap 21, keep moving, try to keep moving. Now we're at a key moving average with a few squeezes in place and that high to contend with. So yeah, if we can't get through that high, can't get through these squeeze tops, and we slip below 3,200 on Amazon to start firing these squeezes down, we could revisit the 4 hour squeeze bottom and the daily mean. Just some likely scenarios that we have to think about if Amazon can't get through, you know, basically this 3,250 to 3,300. If it can't get up to and through those, with the ultimate goal of getting to this 365, right? Then we are probably going to revisit the mean, fire these squeezes down. So definitely some key levels to look at on Amazon. Let's zoom in just a little bit. So yeah, there you go. So just to see it on a smaller time frame, you know, it's basically, if we can't get through right here, we're going to come back to 3,200. Kind of looks like we might be on a path for, yeah, we're only about 3,220 right now, about where we close. So who knows, we could pull down to 3,200, hold that, get our momentum to keep going. Definitely would be watching the 3250s, 3300s. And if we can't get through those, then we'll be revisiting and coming back, and would be watching the 3150s, 3100s, which would get us back to this mean. So I like this for Amazon either direction going into Thursday, Friday, especially after a nice sideways day, and I'm going to definitely keep an eye on it. So moving on. Facebook started to make a nice recovery yesterday after this big old sell-off post-earnings. Let's zoom on out just for a second. So we're about to arrive back at the daily Keltners here after swinging way outside them. So we're at -3 1/3, so almost to that first daily Keltner. Next one up aligns with the daily 8 at around 250. Facebook with an ATR of 15. Kind of a 2-day journey unless it has a lot of relative strength and support. So I have to see what we get. We do have a 30-minute squeeze in place that breaking down past 230 and breaking up past 234 to 235 can accelerate us. So definitely be watching the 230s, 225s, and then 235s, 240s kind of thing. And see what we get with Facebook. Google finally got through that trend line with the gap. And looks strong. fell back, but is now basically kind of in this channel and riding up. Looks like we might open a little bit outside of it, so we could potentially have the momentum to just get back into channel. We do have these squeezes to deal with, and the high from yesterday right at 28.50. Next Keltner up is 28.66, right around there, and then past that would be, this is the first, this is the second, would be 29.60 with 29 in the middle. So let's see if Google needs to revisit the daily 50 or the daily 8, which kind of align with the squeeze bottom and yesterday's low, or if Google wants to just have one of those pops, get into this channel, hold this 28.50 for a minute before moving higher in the channel. Definitely going to keep an eye on Google. I love those kinds of play on Google. Sometimes it explains like why it just opens and pops real fast. But if it can't get through this squeeze top and yesterday's high, might come back for a moving average tap and a chance to pick up a Friday lotto. Microsoft closed around 311, nice and strong. Been calling that out off of 300 to get the 305s, 310s. Looks like it's paying off well. We kind of got this little ascending wedge, so let's see if Microsoft can stay in it. And not too much of a squeeze, it's just starting to form. Starting to slip that wedge, so let's see if we can hold that pre-market high. If we start to go lower, looks like we do have another little squeeze down here at 306, so that could be a downside target, and we have the daily mean at 307, so that could be a nice support, 306 to 307. Oh, sorry, the daily mean's at 308. So we might have a slight pullback to there before moving higher and firing this higher time frame squeeze 4 hour up into the daily, which was way up here with the 50 still, if you remember that. So yeah, looks like we're slipping already. So definitely keep an eye on Microsoft. Going to pull weight in tech. Let's see, is Apple slipping as well? It's 8:30. We just had our CPI numbers, right? I think that was today. So yeah, Apple dropping down into the bottom of the squeezes. So we're already starting to update our thesis, right? We're already down in these squeeze bottoms. Let's see if they hold. And if we open their pre-market, if we open around those, maybe we get just a straight bounce today. But if we slip those, we're going to fade back to the moving averages on a lot of these names. So, Microsoft, come on. So yeah, on each thing, let's just keep watching those squeeze bottoms, see if they fire. If so, we're going to be heading back to some of these moving averages. Next would be Netflix. Looks like it got a nice bounce later in the day. Yeah, kind of a dip. Nice W, and then go. Slipping out of its channel. So let's see if these squeeze bottoms can hold it up, and this psychological 400 might basically just get a retest of yesterday's lows, or opening there and propel off, or we could be going to revisit 390. Viddy. Pulling back to this zone. Let's see if that key level, that 258, 259 can hold the bottom of that zone. If not, we'll probably go back to this trend line that we broke through, give that another tap at 255. But we're opening down here. Hopefully everyone sees it as a dip buy opportunity. Everyone, I mean, at big money. And we can just get bought right up off of the levels that they have been buying at. But, you know, with a lot of gap ups on those that reported today, and with CPI numbers that they apparently aren't liking too much, we might just need to be patient today. I'm just going to skip to Tesla and breeze over some of these other names. Tesla just tighter and tighter into these squeezes. Now some of these squeezes have stepped up to the top of the higher time frame and the highs from last week. So we're dropping to those squeeze bottoms, 915. Are we going to give out? We already are, and head back to 900. And this squeeze bottom from the top yesterday to the bottom, we might be getting some dip buys today and some quick shorts. We'll have to see. So can Tesla hold 900 and this 4-hour squeeze bottom? And the first Keltner down, if that's where we're going. Can we pop up, maybe pop up before open and open around all of liquidity and give us a good idea if we can go from there? We'll just have to see. Ultimately, Tesla needs to get above this 918, get through these recent highs to keep trucking up to mission 1000. And if it breaks 900, probably going to go revisit some of these others and fire this 4-hour down. But looking for that 4-hour to hold around 890. You know, just like we've been bought up there when we got back each time. So keep an eye on those levels. And then we'll do QQQ and the SPYs. We have absolutely slayed the Qs and SPY lately. Nailed the bottom of the squeeze and breaking that trend line. Played the 360s and swung them. Played some of the 365s yesterday. And now we're all the way back. Where we started yesterday. And coming off of the 200. So let's see if these daily moving averages give us a bounce. Let's see if liquidity holds us up and we can keep trucking on this rally to get back to the highs. And on SPY, same thing. We played those 450s and swung some. Opened at 455. I know some folks hit the 56, 58s. Looks like before open, we're already getting kind of screwed with those CPI numbers. So let's see if the mean can hold us up. We got the daily 8 and the 21 right at 450, 451. Should be a great spot to stop this drop and keep trucking back up to mission 460. If those give out, we could accelerate fast right back down to 445. You know, and kind of the bottom of where the squeeze was and the zone from last week's low. But that's it for prep. Hopefully this was helpful to everybody. We'll see you in chat today. Good luck.